Hello guys, NautoAis here, and I want to give my thoughts on the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. So there is a lot of interesting announcement, feature, information about the console, plus actually games. And yet, I'll also be talking about some controversy. And oh boy, let's just say that most of the Nintendo fans, especially the hardcore, are not happy. But that be a little bit later. So with that said, first, the elephant in the room. On the Nintendo Direct, yet they did not mention anything about a universal achievement system. I don't know what's going on. They basically focus on other things, hopefully in the treehouse, and if it's not, maybe later on. And like, who knows? I mean, I'll talk about more of what's going on, but yeah, so as of right now, in the entire Nintendo Direct, no mention any shape or form about a universal achievement system. Hopefully there is, so it's still time. We'll just have to wait and see. And yeah, so if you notice on my main channel, especially April's Fool about the Nintendo Achievement Win, yes, so a little bit of the backstory of that one because it's sort of related. Yes, whether Nintendo does it or not for the Switch 2, it is what it is. I say it's gonna bullshit if it's not. But for the segment itself, it'll have a new title. Moving forward, it'll be just me showcasing anything that has an achievement, especially PlayStation trophy. So that's why. So yeah, so as of right now, there is no information about a universal achievement system. Hopefully in the long run, maybe something to do with my Nintendo. Again, it's baby step to some extent. So with that said, let's start with Mario Kart World. People were wondering whether it's going to be Mario Kart 9 or 10. Yes, whether you like it or not, it is time for a new Mario Kart, so they did it. Mario Kart 8 was popular in the Wii U, kind of made it turn it around, especially during the Switch with Deluxe, adding some new feature, plus the Booster Pass, even adding more content to the game, and it sold like hotcakes. So can you top that? Well, they kind of did with Mario Kart World, because one, it's going to be a launch title. Second, it is going to be up to 24 players. There's going to be new characters, new card, new cosmetic, I guess, for the characters, plus a lot of new rules. Especially now, it's sort of an open world because you can free roam in any tracks in Mario Kart. Also, when you're playing the Grand Prix mode, rather than transitioning to one stage to another, apparently it's going to be one big stage. So let's say that it's 4 tracks per Grand Prix. The minute you finish the first Grand Prix, like the first stage, you move to the second stage automatically. So there's a lot of like smooth transition, new items, and new features with it. However, the controversy with this game is, well, the price, but I'll be talking about that later on. Because in conjunction with Mario Kart World, they finally revealed what the C button is. And yet, as a lot of people knew it, it is the chat button C. They call it game chat. No, it doesn't connect you with the old Switch as a second screen. That's still a good idea, but again, it's just barely announced. Give it time. That's probably going to be like a year later or so, that new additional feature. But for now, baby steps. So yes, so at least you can now do chat with the console without using the phone. However, Nintendo did say that you can still use the phone if you want to. And if you look at some of the new video on the Nintendo YouTube channel, they're also updating the Nintendo Parental Guide app. Again, for the safety for the children yet, but at the same time, they don't want to get sued. They kind of show how it is, chat up to 4 people, play at the same time, watch their gameplay to some extent, and it even is going to have a Nintendo Switch 2 camera if you want that. So it's sort of a massive social aspect. I mean, unless you're a hardcore that you know what to do using like Discord, streaming, whatever. To some extent, this is, again, like I said, just like my Nintendo today, that it is for the casual, something easy, without to know how to understand how to build like a streaming set, streaming with your friends. It's something easy, something's already there, so that's why. That's what the game chat is. Again, it's for the casual, for the parent. That's why they're there. Of course, then after that is another feature that the Nintendo Switch 2 will have is game share. On selected game, you can actually play multiplayer with only one game card. So they showed Clubhouse 51. All you need is one. Send it to the other people who have Switch 2 and you can play multiplayer. Again, it is a good idea. Save some money, especially if someone wants to try out what the game is. There you go, they can try it there, especially multiplayer. Save some money there. But like I said, it is only selected games for now, but they're going to add more. And then, of course, they did talk about a bit of a spec and the size. And yes, it's also a factor the price, but I'll talk about it later. So the specs are, yes, it is more powerful than the Switch, no duh. So they did say that when you play it handheld, it is 1080p. When you do it on the dock, you can go 4K. It even has HDR option if you want that. So technically, it is sort of par to a PlayStation 4 Pro to a Series S to some extent. So a lot of people kind of believe that it's as powerful as a Series S. So on Twitter, I kind of said, if a game can run on a Series S, it probably can run on the Switch 2 to some extent. Yes, I was right. However, there are some caveats with some of the game. You kind of showed with the trailer, but I'll talk about that later. And then for the size, yes, it is bigger than the Switch. The controllers are bigger. The screen, the Switch itself, it is a bit bigger. It is what it is there. And then with that, they showed a game that is kind of exclusive, showing the capability of the Switch 2. But it is sort of a controversy, and that is the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. So the idea is some sort of interactive tech demo with puzzle and minigame and the tech and the history behind the Switch 2. So you say, oh, that's cool, a tech demo. That should be free in the game. Well, nah. Apparently, you're paying for it. So my guess is it's going to be between $10 to $20. Tech demo showing what the Switch 2 is about, and you're paying for it. Including myself, a lot of people, even famous people I follow, like Dreamcast Guy and Miss Click, they're like, what the hell is this shit? And I even said that when Sony, who's to some extent anti-consumer, provide a pack-in game, Astro Bot Playroom, that it can be a full game, but it's not, a free pack-in game, and it's even free if you can download it again. And if you didn't know, they even had a latest update, so you can get like PS5 Pro related item, showing you that it's free. Then this weird tech demo, there's something wrong with Nintendo, and I'm laughing. So, I mean, are people gonna buy it? Well, if you're a Nintendo hardcore, probably, but oh my gosh, this game should have had been a pack-in game. Yes, I know, Nintendo's policy, they never pack in a game when it first launched. It was a controversy with the Wii. According to Reggie, Miyamoto was not happy about it, but because, again, different culture, different market. The US market is different than the Japanese market. I mean, granted, if you have an internet, there's gonna be free-to-play games. Fortnite is one of them, so, I mean, there it is. But, again, it just would make more sense if this game was a pack-in game. They even said it had puzzle and mini game. Oh my goodness, but whatever. Nintendo, man, they're very anti-consumer here. So it kind of showed that Furukawa's direction is way different than Iwata, but again, it is what it is there. And then they also said about that if you want to expand the save for the Switch 2, you're gonna need to buy a micro SD Express card. So you can't use a normal one like on the Switch. You're gonna need to use an Express because it runs in a powerful, architect, runs more faster, powerful. Kind of makes sense. It is what it is. But again, it's still better than those PlayStation Portable and Vita memory card. Oh my god, the proprietary memory card was bad. And again, it says security reason. I don't think it's a security reason for this one. It's just that it's the architect. It's just way different. And speaking of the architect, I didn't forget to mention that, yes, Koizumi is not in charge of the Switch 2. He was in the Switch 1. They introduced 3 people that were in charge of the Switch 2. The hardware architect, the director, and the producer for it. Again, they look young, so hopefully they have a different perspective than the grandpas from Nintendo, but we'll just have to wait and see. Just want to mention that one there. And then the launch of the console will be June 5th, 2025. Yes, a lot of people kind of guess, and even myself, that it is going to be somewhere in June, early June. Let the hardcore first buy them. Let them give their opinion so you can get an idea from them, the influencer. And then by November, December, make your decision whether you're going to get one or not. And yes, don't worry to some extent. Nintendo did say that they are kind of countering with scalpers. But right now, Nintendo themselves still saying that, yeah, a lot of people are going to want this, so you might not get one on day one. For me, like I said, my policy rule is I never buy a console at launch. I give it at least 6 months to some extent. But mostly a year, yes. I kind of did the launch before. I did talk about it, the PS3 and the Wii. It is what it is. The Switch, I got it 6 months later. Okay, am I gonna get this? Maybe holiday, if games are cool, they finally show some more games. Because I'm gonna talk about more about some new features they're gonna do. But yeah, so June 6th. So as of right now, they not mention the price yet on the direct itself. You have to read it from the press release for whatever. And a lot of people did show it, and you're not gonna have. I mean, the price itself defends your perspective, but it's a little bit more than should have been, in my opinion, but I'll talk about it later. And then there's going to be game type for the Nintendo Switch 2. First of all, exclusive Nintendo Switch 2 game. They showed some of them already. And then there is Nintendo Switch game. And they did say that some of this game will have a free update patch if you put it on the Nintendo Switch 2. So, yeah, to some extent, there is some sort of boost mode at figure, and a lot of people did say themselves that if they do that, they'll be fine, because finally, to some extent, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will have some sort of boost mode in the Nintendo Switch 2. So again, they're finally fixing the problem, and a lot of people did say that rumor was, rather than trying to fix it on the Switch, they say, you know what, we're just going to do the Switch 2, and there you go. There will be a third version of the Nintendo Switch. So they call this Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. So what it is Nintendo Switch 2 version of Nintendo Switch game. They showed some of them. First of all, yes, a lot of people figured it out. Metroid Prime 4 will have a Switch 2 Edition version, which is you can use the game with the game Joy-Con as a mouse, better frame rate, better resolution. And then the two biggest one that I saw, and this is where the achievement sort of kind of kicked in to some extent, but we'll have to wait and see, that both The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will also have a Switch 2 edition. The edition feature is, yes, better resolution, better frame rate, 60 frame, but the game itself, they're not adding anything new about it. So yeah, some games there is going to be something you're going to add in. Some they don't. It's just like better graphics. It is what it is with this one. And not only that, the Switch 2 edition for this will integrate a new program in the Switch app called Zelda's Note. So yeah, lore-wise is you're going to have a virtual like Zelda's journal in the game. But it also is going to have some stats. And one of the stats is you get medals. And this medal kind of look like achievement. So if this is going to be some sort of in-game achievement, oh my god, this is bullshit still. They've done that before. Like I said, I did mention that certain games have in-game achievement. Even Animal Crossing New Horizon has in-game achievement. But a lot of people who are achievement fans like myself wanted a system-based universal achievement. They're still not doing it to some extent. I don't know, but yeah, so the Zelda Note will have some sort of medal that's your achievement. But they also added some new stuff like help you find Koros, those stupid nuts thing. I can't believe they brought it back. And yeah, so, golly, I hate those. So there's going to be, like, for the Zelda Note, going to help you trying to find it. And then there's going to be called the Journal. And if you go in certain places and you turn on the app, there's going to be like a voice recording from Zelda. There's even one from the first King of Hyrule. Well, whatever, better than nothing. But in hindsight, if you're not using the app, it is just going to be resolution. That's really it. And of course, I suspected some of this Nintendo Switch 2 version. If you already have the game, you have a paid upgrade. Again, yeah, you can moan and bitch about it. Sony kind of did it with some of their first-party game. And remember, people kind of forgot, Nintendo kind of did it with the Virtual Console on the Wii to the Wii U, that if you have a Wii version, you pay $1 more for the Wii U version for an upgrade. So Nintendo kind of started it, just saying. So they're just doing the Virtual Console in the past. Now they're doing it on actual games. So good, bad, well, you decide. And then a new IP for Nintendo, and this shows the capability of the Joy-Con to using it as a mouse, drag and drive. So it's basketball in a wheelchair. So you use the mouse as a wheelchair, and then you use it like you move it like you're playing basketball in a wheelchair. I know it's weird, but okay, but you know, diversity. representative for people in wheelchair, I guess. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's sort of, I guess, a game showcase demonstrating the mouse feature for the Switch 2. And then third-party game, no surprise. So I kind of list some of here that they showed in a sizzle reel. Elder Ring is going to have one, and yes, it's going to be 30 frame as expected. Hades 2, that's going to be multi-platform. Finally, Street Fighter 6 on the Switch 2. And yes, it will be cross-play with the other console. And not only that, on the Nintendo version, you're going to have Amiibo. And the feature for that one is that if you scan a Street Fighter Amiibo, you can get more free stuff for your avatar. It is what it is there. Daemon X Machina 2, yes, a sequel. Split Fiction, from that guy who does like split multiplayer game. Makes sense. One of the best games ever. No microtransaction or political stuff in it. EA Sports game's going to be there. Hogwarts Legacy is going to have a Switch 2 edition. Better performance. Hopefully that's free update. Tony Hawk 3 and 4. Makes sense. Hitman. Another one. Surprisingly, 007. This is also going to be in the Switch 2. Bravely Default HD, the one that's based on the 3DS, is going to have a Switch version. It's going to be multi-platform. We'll just have to wait and see. Yakuza 0. So again, if you only have a Nintendo console, you don't play PlayStation, Xbox, or Steam, and you only have a Nintendo console, here it is. And if you're interested with the Yakuza, just like Yakuza Kiwami, you gotta do the Hype franchise test. Show Sega that you're interested to have Yakuza on a Nintendo console. If 0, they even adding some new stuff, is popular, maybe they'll add more Yakuza game on the Switch. And for me, I played them already when they first came out on the respective console. It is what it is. Like I said, yes. The key thing about it is like, oh, wait a minute. Why are you bringing this third-party game? I already played them on the Switch. Well, first of all, portability. But second is, people who only have a Switch console or planning to get only Switch 2, there you go. You say, wait a minute. They kind of did it with the Wii U. Well, different marketing, different situation, and it didn't work out. This time around, because of the portability feature, it has a more advantage. And then another new game from Tecmo Koei teaming up with Nintendo, Hyrule Warrior Age of Imprisonment. So yes, just like Hyrule Warrior Calamity of Age, this is sort of a prequel to Tears of the Kingdom, to some extent that it tells the story of what happened to Princess Zelda when she got sent back in time. And again, yeah, spoiler, the game is to some extent old, is that in the very beginning, Link went to the Sky City, basically part of ancient Hyrule. At the same time, Zelda, for whatever reason, ended up traveling back millions, I think, in the past. 100 millions, I can't even remember. Basically, she met the first king of Hyrule. And yes, only that particular timeline is as the first king of Hyrule. Don't think too much about it. Yes, and people did say that the game is canon to the Zelda game. Okay, but again, Hyrule Warrior, this time around, since it's going to be in the Switch 2, hopefully it performed better. Maybe there's also an enhanced update for Hyrule Warrior Age of Calamity, because the game is fun, but it runs like ass, like a potato, but it is what it is there. And then, exclusive to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch 2 is, yes, people have been asking for it, and they finally did it. GameCube will be on that one. So a lot of people did kind of compare, oh, you can play it on the Switch one. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I kind of argued that with the 3DS with Game Boy games, and they never did it. And a lot of people did say the reason why they didn't do it was all of those Game Boy Advance game that kind of, it was an apology for early adopters. There were a bunch of, I think, DSi games. So they converted them to DSi games, and that's why. So I don't know what the story with the GameCube not being on the Switch, but it is what it is, giving you more incentives of why to get a Switch 2. And to some extent, kind of justifying the price of the expansion pack. So it's still $50, which is good. So again, they're adding more stuff. So there you go. And plus, if you are a expansion pack subscriber, the Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, the Switch 2 edition will be free. So there you go. More third-party games. Deltarune 3 and 4, Borderlands 4, Civilization 2, WW 2K25, and NBA 2K25 is going to be finally on the Switch 2. Backstory, if you remember, WWE 2K18 was on the Switch, and it ran like shit. Like, I mean shit. That's why for a while they weren't even supporting the game on the Switch, and you can see why. Cyberpunk 2027 also going to be on the Switch too. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate will also going to be on the Switch too. And that one, just like Elder Ring, as expected, is going to be only 30 frames, just like the PS4 Pro to some extent. It only runs on 30 frames. Again, who knows? Like I said, it could be as powerful as a Series S. We'll just have to wait and see. And they did say that more games are coming in. And then more reveals, more new game, and this one is called Duskblood, and yes, it is a Soul game from Software, and it is exclusive to the Switch because Nintendo is funding this game. Yeah, it does look like Bloodborne, because the problem is a lot of people are complaining, hey Sony, what's going on with Bloodborne? How come you're not doing anything about it? Alright, well, you know what? No Bloodborne, why not just have something new? Duskblood. So it is what it is there. It is a first-party game for Nintendo Switch. Hey, if Bloodborne's a first-party game on the PlayStation, why not there? And then Sakurai's Mysteries game, Kirby Air Riders. Yeah, so people thinking it is a sequel. I mean, kind of makes it should be a sequel from a GameCube game. And if you watch Sakurai's YouTube, he did mention that hopefully he'll make a new version of Kirby Air Ride. And there it is. And then closing with this one is Donkey Kong Bonanza, a 3D Donkey Kong game. And yes, it is facts now. Donkey Kong look different. They did change him. I guess they just not happy with the rare version. So they said, you know what? We're just going to do our own. Very, very animated, I have to say. There you go. Nintendo Switch Direct. They show what it is. They show what the game's going to come out. Yes, like I said, no achievements as of right now. Still, they didn't mention it. Hopefully, in the long run, they'll mention it. Maybe in a Mario Kart World Nintendo Direct, because they have one. Maybe they'll introduce achievement. Like I said, as of right now, there is sort of an in-game achievement with Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Hopefully, there is still a universal achievement. And if they don't, I don't know what's wrong with them. It's kind of stupid if they didn't do it, in my personal opinion, but whatever. Like I said, console's going to come out June 5th, 2025. So they reveal the price of the console. So the base one will be $450. Yes, so $100 more than the OLED. I was hoping it would be $400. It would make sense, but $450, okay. And then there's also a $500 version that comes with Mario Kart World. So you're getting $50. So you say, oh, that's cool. Not so quite, because the game itself, they revealed, digitally will be $80. So yeah, so the biggest controversy right now is, first of all, the console itself is expensive to some extent. Maybe even the accessories are becoming expensive. The Switch 2 Pro controller is $10 more, but again, you can see more moving parts inside. The dock itself also is $100 because there's moving parts and it's more powerful than a regular dock. Other stuff's going to be expensive. Again, hey, Nintendo, Sony with their controllers are expensive. Xbox, same thing, so why not? But it's gonna oof to some extent, but yeah, so it's $450 at the lowest. The games are the one that's gonna be concerning because, like I said, $80 for Mario Kart World, and then for Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's $70. So what people are now seeing that, yeah, Nintendo, with their first party game, they're probably going to be ranging from $70 to $100. Yeah, no joke. It's going to be $100. And people might argue, oh, well, that's what happened in the past. Remember days in the N64, the games were like expensive. That's in the past, people. We don't really want to look in the past when it comes to technology and business, but some people do. Again, is it acceptable? Who knows? You make a call. It's the eye of the beholder if you think it's worth that price. I wouldn't be surprised to some extent that if we're going to go down fast, because I did mention this before in 2022 that, yeah, the game's $70. Why am I not worried? Because I was right. Within years to some extent, depends on the game, they're already on sale. Dragon Age, Veilguard, it's already free on PlayStation Plus. I mean, the game is bad and political, but you catch my drift. And that game was supposed to be a $70 game. it's already on sale to some extent, and even some other game. But granted, some of them are like slop, but it is what it is. And like I said, in Woot right now, there are some first-party games that's on sale. Just saying there. So I wouldn't be surprised to some extent if a lot of this Switch 2 games gonna go down in price. We'll just have to wait and see. Again, yes, Mario Kart, they get away with it because, it's Nintendo, it's Mario Kart's popular. There are people saying they're willing to pay $80 for it. For me, hell no, but we'll have to wait and see. So that's one of the controversies. Again, and then I wouldn't be surprised if the Nintendo subscription going to go raise their price in the long run. Right now, they're probably just looking into it. What's the reason? Some people believe is the tariff, if you know that political story, thanks to the new people running the country. Not going to touch that. Some people just believe that maybe Nintendo they can because they're Nintendo. Who knows? So unless you're a super hardcore Nintendo fan and that you're willing to spend a lot of money for views so you can get your returns on your stream and whatever, yeah, they're going to probably get it at launch. And at the same time, they're also helping other gaming community to see whether you should get it or not. So let the hardcore, let the people who have a lot of money, let them do it. Let them buy it at launch. And like I said, I agree with what Matt said, that on June, let the hardcore buy them. And then for the rest, wait at least 6 months to a year. By then, it's probably going to be easier to get them because, again, right now, to some extent, it is expensive. People like the Switch because it was affordable. It was a good alternative. But with this, oof, wow, dude, the prices are going to be questionable. But there you go. We'll just have to wait and see what happened. There will be Treehouse on 2 days to showcase some of the game. Are they going to showcase some of the achievement? Who knows? But it is what it is. We'll just have to wait and see. There you go, my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. It is on because I do want to talk about what I saw. It is what it is. So with that, I'll see you guys later.